¿Qué tal? Bienvenidos a este bonus track de Café de Noche, la versión nocturna de Café Express con Ariel Pérez. Los saluda Algorosito. Si algo nos abundan casi todas las semanas son las producciones infantiles, que en la mayoría de los casos nos llegan en forma de animación, pero en otros, como es el de Peter Rabbit, es un híbrido de personas reales y un grupo de animales digitales encabezados por el conejo del título, que si bien está destinado a entretener al público más chico, también le hará pasar un buen rato a los más grandes, muchos de los cuales habrán crecido con el mismo, ya que se inspira en una serie de libros que estuvo a punto de ser la primer película de Walt Disney, aunque lamentablemente no pudieron convencer a su autora para que se diera los derechos en ese momento, como por ejemplo sí pasó eventualmente con la de Mary Poppins, cosa que hasta tuvo su adaptación cinematográfica en El sueño de Walt. Y con motivo de este divertido estreno, nos fuimos a una de las salas del complejo Grupo Cine para preguntarle a la gente qué le pareció la película.
¿Qué te pareció la película?
Me encantó, muy entretenida, muy alegre, muy tierna, me encantó realmente.
Bien, muy divertida.
Muy buena, muy entretenida, la verdad, nos gustó mucho las dos, ¿verdad, Vale?
Muy linda la película, sí, muy buena, entretenida, divertida, sí, como
¿Sí?
no, sí, nos gustó mucho, además, mira, ni siquiera se movieron del asiento en un momento, no piden para ir al baño, a veces piden cuando se aburre, la película fue larga, pero fue entretenida, se pasó rápido, muy bueno.
Muy buena, muy divertida.
Muy linda, muy divertida, la verdad, sí.
No, bien, divertida, entretenida.
Muy entretenida, muy educativa.
¿Qué tal te pareció la película?
Bien.
¿Sí? ¿Qué te gustó más?
La pata que el hombre se pegó con toda la tapa que hicieron los conejos.
La imagen en la casa, los animales como armaban todo el relajo, eso estuvo muy bueno.
La que el señor toca la manija de la puerta y salía volando. La de no me acuerdo.
¿La disculpa del conejo?
Sí. No sé, estuvo todo bueno. De las personas.
Les cuento que comparto la opinión positiva, ya que es un muy lindo estreno, digno de verse en familia. Y para que sepan un poquito más de la misma, aquí les dejamos las entrevistas con algunas de sus estrellas, comenzando con James Corden, el conductor de Late Night, conocido por sus Carpools Karaoke, que nos empieza contando un poquito más de la trama. Así que, luces, cámara, acción.
The Peter Rabbit movie is a story about an adorable yet slightly mischievous young rabbit named Peter, and it's he and his family have been through quite a lot. It's him and his sisters Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, and his cousin Benjamin, and Peter is very much the leader of this family, and they feel under attack because of a new person comes into a garden, which is where they get their primary source of food, and they have to fight back against this with hilarious and yet dangerous consequences.
Mopsy is the eldest of the triplets. A lot of her identity is pinned on that fact. But of course it's hilarious because rabbits are born 16 seconds apart from each other. She means well. Mopsy means well. She feels a lot of responsibility, I think, for Peter, who's obviously really mischievous and rebellious and doesn't do what he's told. But for her sisters too, she feels like she needs to care for them. I'm the eldest of three too, so I get the sort of power dynamic, and that, sometimes too much of your identity can hinge on that, and sometimes you can abuse your power. But I think that she's very sweet and she means well.
I play Bee, who is the avid animal lover, activist really, and she's moved to the countryside to get a bit of peace and quiet and try to concentrate on her painting.
And I play the crazy man. I'm Thomas McGregor, who turns up trying to fix the house up so he can sell it and start a toy shop, but the rabbits have other ideas.
Flopsy Rabbit is one of the 4 rabbits in the family. Peter's the eldest, and then the triplets, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, are his younger sisters. And Flopsy is constantly being bossed around by Mopsy. As much as they love each other, there's a bit of tension there sometimes in a very hilarious way. I think Flopsy struggles to be heard in the group sometimes, not just because she has a lisp, but because she perhaps hasn't found her confidence within the group yet. Cottontail, on the other hand, just really does her own thing and is a bit of a kook, but hilarious, but really doesn't care what anyone thinks, and that's very funny to watch. Mopsy, like I said, does a bit of the bossing around, is a little more jaded perhaps than Flopsy Rabbit, but ultimately they're all brothers and sisters and they love each other endlessly. We definitely, all the sisters, the triplets, idolize our older brother Peter. He's definitely the leader of the pack. He's kind of the lovable rogue hero, so to say, in the story, and perhaps leads them into precarious situations, primarily in McGregor's garden. But ultimately he's there to look out for his sisters and, of course, their cousin Benjamin Bunny, who is very sweet and loyal.
This movie, I don't think, could have been made without it being started from Animalogic, because they knew that they could do the animation. They knew they could figure it out, and they did. And then the beauty of it is, because they're so good at what they do, the danger of it is that I know they can do everything. So once I kind of had that tool in my tool belt with the actors and the voice booths, I said, well, let's just keep trying different things, and we'd have so much fun with it, write whole new storylines in the booth, get out of the booth with, say, Elizabeth or Daisy, and then go to my office, log on to Australia and say, hey, the session went great, we need to redo everything. And they went, oh no, not again. But they were so up for the task, and what they did, which was so amazing, is after about 4 or 5 minutes of this movie, you forget that these are computer generated. You even forget that they're animals talking. You just think that they're rabbits, you think that they're badgers. And what I'm most proud of Animalogic's doing is, at the very end, when it becomes very emotional, and you have these big close-ups of Peter and of Elizabeth and Margot as rabbits, you feel their emotion just coming through the screen, and you see the fur, and you see little subtle movements. You forget that they're computer generated, and that is the beauty of what they did, is that they did work so hard to kind of erase in your head that it's an animated movie, and they did it.
It was kind of an amazing process laying the animation, the voice for this animation, because I think I may have voiced the entire movie 10 or 11 times, and throughout that time it was a constantly moving feast. It was constantly evolving. The character was evolving, the animation was evolving, and so it's difficult to always know, like, the voice would come first and then the animation would inform the voice, and then the voice would inform the reanimation would inform the voice, and it just kept going like that, really, until now, where it's finished and it's done. And I have to say, I think what the animators have done with these characters, the way that they move and talk, and their fur, and the way they walk and interact with each other is really quite amazing to see.
It's remarkable what they can do with animation these days. Truly it is. I mean, I work in the business. I understand to an extent how they go about this sort of stuff, but to truly get lost in the film the way I did 5 minutes into watching the movie is just crazy. I mean, it really is a credit to how talented the people at Animalogic are. But yeah, no, the filming process was interesting. They would film us recording our dialogue, and they would try and inject our mannerisms and facial expressions into the characters so they could all be differentiated in that way, which is, I mean, a ton of work on their end, but it is so necessary so that each character has their own defining character traits.
I think my favourite quality about Peter is his unrelenting sense of self-confidence. It really takes him a long time to realise he may have messed up, But I guess actually his best quality is that when he does mess up and make a mistake, he rectifies it in the best way possible. And that, I think, is probably the best message for the film, really, which is everyone's going to make mistakes all the time. All of us. Whoever you are, there's some screw-ups coming your way. But what's important is how you deal with those mistakes and who you are in those mistakes, and that you learn from them and try not to make them again. And it takes Peter a long time to figure that out, but once he does, it's wonderful.
Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables is a big one. We can't say it enough.
We can't say it enough.
Wear pants if you're a human.
Yeah.
And then, what was the one that James said earlier? Oh, if you make a mistake, it's okay to make a mistake as long as you learn from it. I think that's pretty good.
That's a nice sentiment.
First of all, I hope they take away that we've honored Beatrix Potter, and if you like Beatrix Potter, if you love Peter Rabbit, this is still for you, first and foremost. Secondly, family over everything. And thirdly, everyone makes mistakes. It's how we deal with those mistakes. And I believe there's strong messages in this movie, but they're delivered without any medicine, with a lot of sugar, and a lot of carrots. So it's on the way home when I think you're going to realize what the messages were.
Antes de irnos, les recordamos que van a poder escuchar Café de Noche por acá, la 970 AM de Montevideo, o en todo el mundo a través de www.970universal.com de lunes a viernes a partir de las 22 horas, donde este y todos los viernes a eso de las 22:30 nos tendrán a nosotros para ponerlos al día con todos los estrenos de la cartelera nacional para que arranquen el fin de semana de película. Muchísimas gracias por haber llegado hasta el final de este video. Por acá tendrán acceso a las últimas críticas y un poquito más abajo las versiones completas de nuestro programa semanal sobre el mundo del cine. Si así lo desean, podrán suscribirse, darnos un me gusta, acceder a nuestras redes sociales o dejarnos un comentario para seguir pasándola de película.